Are you the type of person that'll constantly talk yourself out of doing something when you know that you could actually do it? Well, this week on Motivation and Confidence, we're going to talk about stop having those negative thoughts. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you checking out the podcast. As always, please like, subscribe, and share. If there are questions or comments that you'd like to send to us, drop us an email, tomdanger.com. So let's get straight to it. So many of you continually doubt yourself. You have ideas. You have passions. You have a voice. And for some reason, you continually look for reassurance. You're looking for somebody to tell you that, yes, what you're thinking is correct. Yes, your idea will work. Yes, that look that you have is the right look. Yes, your followers, your social media, your business tactic is going to work. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for someone to continually tell you that. And if you don't think that that's true, here's an example. How many times have you looked at a piece of social media to where, let's say a Gary Vee, for example, will do a Q&A? How many people do you see or hear that will call in and ask Gary a question that they already have the answer to? They're already doing, let me rephrase that, you're already doing what you know is best for you, but you're looking for somebody else to say to you, yes, that makes sense, or no, that doesn't make sense. And here's the dangerous part. Are you really looking for a person to tell you, yes, it's going to work? Or are you really looking for the reason to get out of it? You always want to back down when you're faced with a new challenge, when you're faced with standing outside of the crowd, when you're faced with not fitting in, when you see everything else that's going on around you, and if it's not like a mirror reflecting what you have, what you do, what you value, then you start to second guess yourself. And that self-doubt and that procrastination is what holds you back. When you talk about getting to the next level, you'll never get to the next level as long as you have that type of thinking. So what we're going to do this week, let me start with a story. My daughter, my youngest daughter, she is 13 years old. She likes to draw, I think it's called anime or manga, forgive me, but she likes to draw that style of art. And for a 13-year-old, she's damn good. Meticulous. Shading, detail, colors. I mean, absolutely amazing, to the point to where even at 6 years old, she was recognized by her art teacher for saying, look, you have a gift. Fast forward 6 years later, being in junior high school, the teacher says, look, you have a gift. Going on to join an art class at the Met, at the Metropolitan Museum of Art for young artists. The instructors say your child has a gift. To teachers in school now saying you have a gift, got a scholarship to one of the best art programs on the East Coast. Full ride. Full ride. Spent an entire summer, not last year, year before last, expanding her artistic abilities. Now, just this past year, I don't know if it's the pandemic or COVID or remote learning or what it is, she's like, Dad, my art is trash. And I'm like, what are you talking about? First of all, when you put work into something on a daily basis, rarely do you get worse at something when you try to do it over and over and over and over. There's a learning experience, even if you're not at the level that you would like to be. You're one step better than what you were yesterday if you do it a little differently, and if you understand the mistake, or if you take the critique that you have from the previous item or lesson and apply it to something today. You'll always get better. You don't do something and get worse at it. Unless it's drugs or alcohol or something. Then, you'll mess yourself up. You keep doing it. You abuse it, right? Negative thinking that we'll get into. If you keep doing that over and over, you'll wind up abusing it. But when it comes to doing a task, or when it comes to reshaping your thought process, and you learn how to replace that negative with a positive, it will begin to reinforce itself. Back to the story. So she says, my drawings are trash. I'll never make it into art school. Not true. She's drawing every day. She's putting in work. She's looking at other artists. And lo and behold, what is she doing? She's comparing her art to other artists. And as soon as you start to compare yourself by the measure of someone else, you automatically start the negative thought process. As long as you're not looking at what somebody else is doing, or as long as you don't really care what they're doing, and you are in your zone, and when I mean in your zone, I mean when you're really locked in to what you enjoy, you're not concerned what other people are thinking. The minute that you start to use the metric of what someone else is doing, now you're like, wow, am I doing this right? Or the minute that you allow those toxic people to come into your life and say like, yo, why are you doing that? Like, well, what's going on? Like, you really going to try to launch a business? You really going to do a podcast? You really trying to become a life coach? Are you really trying to start a clothing line? Are you really trying to start a business? Then you start going, wow, well, maybe I'm not good enough. No, you're good enough. She's good enough as an artist. She is great as an artist. The point is, you have to condition yourself to block out the noise. There's nothing wrong with being inspired by others. We are all inspired. There's different ways in which we get inspiration. I hope as you listen to this podcast, you will become inspired to shift your negative thoughts into positive. So in working with my daughter, what did we do? For one, I had to tell her to stop comparing herself to other artists. Don't worry about what people are saying in the comments about your artwork unless it is truly constructive criticism. Not someone that just goes, oh, your art is trash. Then you go to their page and it's like a troll, and the troll doesn't even have anything, or the troll and copy somebody else's art or somebody else's flow. Don't worry about that. You got to stick to what you love and what you're into. Because unless you do that, you'll always be in the same spot. And don't allow the hesitation of taking action on something to prevent you from doing it. So as soon as you have those negative thoughts, flip it and replace it with the positive. I'm not a great artist. I am working to become a great artist. My business isn't profitable. I am working to make my business profitable. I want to lose weight. I have changed my lifestyle to lose more weight. You have to put the affirmations in your mind to make it happen. And I'm sorry if I seem so excited, but it's because we all have the power to do so. And unless we start taking those steps to do so, we won't move further. Because the negative thoughts, the mind likes to solve problems. And if you have a negative thought, that's the form of solving a problem. So that mind, your mind is just going to work in overtime. Oh yeah, how can I solve this? How can I solve this? No, focus your mind on the creativity. The creativity and imagination to expound on the ideas, not the negative thoughts. I'm curious to know what you think. I'm curious to know what negative thoughts have you had that you're looking to overcome, and what are you going to do to overcome those thoughts? Or if you need help, let's start the dialogue. Let's go back and forth. Let's talk about it. This is Motivation and Confidence, where we help you do your daily best. If you enjoy the podcast and you want to speak to me directly, please text me at 917-960-2344. 917-960-2344. Thank you.